All right, so for today, we're going to be doing some Rakdos Midrange. What this deck tries to do is lock your opponent out of the game via the use of Thoughtseize Inquisition early game, Fatal Push as a way to deal with their creatures, Bolt to kill their creatures, Croaks to make them discard more, Dreadbore to deal with creatures and Planeswalkers, Liliana the Veil, again, to just make them discard. Blood Moon, in case they're more than one color, we can kind of sort of lock them out of a specific color, hopefully. And then we try to go faster using Pyromancer to help us dig, Dark Confidant as a way to draw slightly more cards, Magmatic Channeler, so that way if we have too many dead cards, we can pitch the dead cards, try to find live cards, Hazoret as a way to get in there for a good chunk of damage, and then Kroxa again as a way to finish. That's the quick rundown of what this deck's trying to do, main board. And to do so, we've got 4 swamps, which we're going to try to get early as possible off of fetch lands. We've got mountains and other things because Blood Moon is a card we want to be able to have our at least 2 basic swamps to cast things like Liliana of the Veil or Escape Kroxa. So we'll try to be getting 2 swamps without hurting the rest of our hand if we need like the other 2 red for Seasoned Pyromancer early. As far as the sideboard is concerned, what we've got is you've got a Singleton Boil for those nice island matchups. We've got a Cling to Dust as a way to just deal with another, if they've got more cards that deal with the graveyard than we do. A Bloodchief's Thirst just is another good spot removal piece. Dreadbore, again, spot removal. K-Command, it's always a great shatter discard, 2 damage discard, 2 damage shatter. The return target creature, I don't know how useful that will be, but it has its scenarios. A Singleton Angrath as a way to make opponents discard or lose 2 life. I believe the main reason is because of its -3 to gain control of a target creature. Untap it, it gains haste, sacrifice it if it costs 3 or less, meaning, oh, my opponent resolved and played an arrow. Okay, well, I'll take their arrow, swing with it, sacrifice it, so that way they have to, get rid of it. And then replay it. Another Chandra just as a way to help close out the game or deal with creatures, because Chandra Emblem is great. EE, because we can deal with it. We have permanents for 1, 2, or 3 because we're running a Singleton Triome, so that way we can produce white for Engineered. 2 Pithing Needle as a way to deal with anything that has an activated ability that we need to worry about. And then 3 Spell Bomb for mass graveyard removal. That's the basic rundown of the list, and I'll see you guys in the league. Let's see what we can do. I would love the die roll. So we've got turn 1 Thoughtseize or turn 1 Inquisition. The Blood Moon's probably not that great in this matchup because of the Obosh. And we don't have anything else really going for us, so we're going to mulligan. This we can keep. We can put back a Liliana here. We will lead off with a Black Cleave Cliffs and Inquisition our opponent. See what they've got going on. Okay, so we're looking at Bomat, Dart, Light Up, Soul Scar. Tempted to take a Soul Scar Mage there. We're not too afraid of the Blood Moon. Yes, it takes us off of double black, but we'll have landed this Liliana before they'll land their Blood Moon. Especially considering how their hand is. They only kept a 1-lander. Granted, they might have only needed 1 land. Channeler. I like dropping Channeler down here. Get ourselves our basic swamp, play down Channeler, pass the turn. Go ahead and offer if they've got something to trade here. They don't. So they do that, and then they firebolt. Fine by me. Okay, well, that's no good for us. So we will just have to pass the turn here and bolt their Bomat after attacks. Let this Bomat exile a card. Bolt the Bomat. Then we hit Channeler. Okay. So we're not looking great here, but that's just because we're a bit land shy. Swift Spear. I mean, if you try to swing, we block. Because we know their hand is Dart, Light Up the Stage, Moon, 2 unknown. We can assume it's not land. Bolt. Okay, we'll ditch Hazoret here. And no, we'll ditch Liliana. Exile the top 2. You may pick one. We'll go Delta. We'll play Delta. We will pass the turn. And now we'll go ahead and bolt. That's the safer line here. They play down second Swift Spear. Get in for one. We go down to 17. They play their second mountain, and then they finally get a Light Up the Stage. So their hand is Dart. Dart, Blood Moon, 1 unknown. We'll go ahead and get a Blood Crypt here. Just in case we draw something good. We don't. We can Inquisition here, check their hand out. Bone Crusher Giant. That's worth a grab. Then we've got ourselves a 4/4. We'll get in for 4. We can't do anything with what we've got in hand. I really don't like having Pyromancer and Hazoret. So they do this. They get in for 1. They've got 1 unknown in hand. I would say they can... Interesting. So they've got something to take care of this Channeler. That plus Bolt. They get in for 3. Our Channeler dies. So their hand is Blood Moon. Mountain gets exiled. We'll play out Channeler here and pass the turn. So they can Blood Moon, Flashback, Lava Dart. Doesn't buy them much. Because we've got a blocker here. They draw a card. Interesting. I mean, they either have it or they don't. I'm assuming that they have the Bolt. Stomp. Okay. So it's 2 damage marked, and then these trade. I'm fine with that. Wow, we are drawing straight channelers. Like, land here would be real nice, because then we get Hazoret down. Pyromancer ditches the Blood Moon. Make themselves a 1/1. I don't want to have to ditch this Hazoret here. Lily. Black, black 1, Lily. If we down tick, we'll up tick. Make them get rid of whatever they've got in hand. There's a light up the stage. Okay. And we will hold our channeler back as a blocker. Both at Liliana. We'll block the Seasoned Pyromancer, so Lily goes down to 3. Opponent could play Bone Crusher if they're so pleased. They Firebolt. Okay. Land? Why? Player discards a card. We'll get rid of Hazoret here. This feels awful. They get to get in for 1, but that's fine. King's Lily for 1. Lily dies, goes down to 3. Instep. Hey, look, we finally draw that land. We'll do this, get ourselves a swamp so that we have black, black, red, red. Go ahead and do this. Each player discards. Problem is they get to make. All right. They get to make 2 dudes at the end step because they've got 1 more land than we do. Yep. They can swing 2 here. And they do. Lily goes down to 2. And then they Firebolt Lily. Okay. And they put Obosh into hand. They play Bone Crusher. Okay. Fatal Push. Well, this is just unfortunate. Because we can't hit the Bone Crusher with this push, meaning we're taking 6. And then it's 2, 3, 4 off of what they've got in graveyard. All right, that won't do it. Okie doke, we just weren't able to close out game 1 there. Let's see what we can do. Spell Bomb doesn't seem awful against them. It doesn't seem phenomenal though, because they've really only got darts and firebolts. Pushes and cling seems fine. I like bolts. I like all of our low end. We can go ahead and take out Blood Moon here. Art is dead in this matchup. K Command doesn't seem awful. K Command. What else? K Command and EE. Sure. I'll try it like so. Let's see what we can do. I don't know if this is necessarily right or not, but we'll find out. Would love to take the play. I like this hand. No turn one discard, but this you fetch for a swamp. EE on one. Pass the turn. All right, there's their Swift Spear. Gets in for one here, I'm assuming. Yep. Sounds good. That'll happen. We draw a Liliana. Interesting. So if we play this and we go ahead and Dreadbore, next turn we can get down the Lily and make them sack if they have another creature. Yep. Swift Spear, get in. Do they have the light up the stage? They do not. It's good for us. We'll go ahead and get this other black source. So that way we have Liliana active to us. Do this, Lily. And we will go ahead and down tick. Yes, this exposes Liliana to Lava Dart, but we're not getting past that card anyway. Yep. Relic of Progenitus comes in. Interesting. Blood Crypt. We'll go ahead and shock this in. This is awkward. From the aspect of we can play Hazoret and not have anything to do with Hazoret because we can't pitch. But we'll have the 5/4 down as a decent body here. Target player exiles a card. Neat. Okay. 3 mana. Why do we... Oh, they put Obosh into hand. Okay. We draw a Thoughtseize. Well, that's just about the best draw we could have had. Thoughtseize opponent. So they have Surgical, Bolt, and then Obosh and Firebolt. Fine by me. That. Go ahead and bolt upstairs. And combat will get in for... We'll get in for 5 here. Take opponent down to 12. Hold up being able to pop EE in case they try to drop a 1-drop here. Because that's their hand. So they Lava Dart us, taking us down to 11. I mean, I know what your hand is. Exiles all cards to draw, sure. Makes sense because they no longer need the mana. They're never gonna, they can't cast the Obosh. Okay, what do we draw here? We draw another EE. We can't put it on 3. E on 2 can only hurt us. So let's see what we draw off this Pyromancer. A Thoughtseize and an Inquisition. We'll Inquisition them. Oh, fun. Get rid of Lightning Bolt. Remove as much damage from their hand as possible. Begin combat. Swing for 5. Take them down to 7. So they have Firebolt. Firebolt's us. Light up the stage. It's Bomat and Bone Crusher. So land, stomp our Pyromancer. Yep. And then they could, in theory, swing with this Bomat. We know that their hand is Surgical Extraction. If they swing with the Bomat, we block with our token. They don't want to pay the life here. Yeah, if they pay the life, they lose. Because we have pop EE, get in. Push. That's a nice one. Surgical Extraction, paying the life. Push your Bomat. Go ahead, take my... You're now dead on board. It's just taking a look through the deck before they concede, I'm assuming here. And we'll move it on to game 3 here. Because we'll have Activate Hazoret, hit them for 2, and then hit them for 6. Yep. They just wanted to see what we brought in. And all it was EEs and K commands. We took out our Blood Moons because it's irrelevant in this matchup. They're mono red. If they want to Blood Moon us, they can. Not necessarily the smartest thing for them to do. We could bring in this Blood Chief's Thirst. Doesn't seem terrible, but I don't think we need it. I think we've got a good enough removal as is. We'll just run it back and see if we can do that again. This time on the draw. Okie doke. We'll try it. It's tempting enough because of the turn 1 Inquisition. They're not doing anything turn 1. That makes me wonder what they kept. And Black Cleave Cliffs make them think we don't have black. Inquisition them. They kept a Bone Crusher, Lava Dart. Get rid of a Bone Crusher. Right, their hand's just a bunch of mountains. They've got one unknown here. We will go ahead and channel her. Pass the turn. Opponent's got 3. If they wanted to, they can stomp plus dart. Opponent really doesn't like channeler. Good to note. We draw a second Pyromancer. We'll go ahead and do this. Pitching Pyromancer and a Croxa. Trying to draw answers. We don't. I mean, by answers, I mean lands there actually, but that's fine. So we no longer know any of the cards in their hand. They drop down a Bone Crusher. Fine by us. We draw a Croxa. Interesting. We'll go ahead and target that. Yeah, we take 2. Your Bone Crusher goes away, however. Then we'll Inquisition them. They've got Bomat Mountain. Cool. So we will attack all, hold 1 back. And pass the turn. So they've got Bomat 1 unknown here. They put Obosh into hand. And they play down a Bomat. Okay. So they've got 2. We can't make them discard 2, sadly. EE on 1. I'm not opposed to this. We could also go for the K command. 2 damage discard. Go this route. They pitch the lightning bolt, so they have their 1 in hand of Obosh. We need a way to deal with Obosh here. They go down to 13. It's their turn. They've got exactly enough mana to cast the Obosh. Neat. They land a 3/5. We now need to deal with it. Dreadbore, baby. Never didn't have it. A Lava Darts, the Seasoned Pyromancer, sure. EE on 1 here. Combat, get in for 2. Take opponent down to 11. They've got 1 card in hand. Land? Wow. We're never going to draw a land, apparently. Play out a Croxa here, make them discard a card. Stomps one of our tokens. Okay. And has the dart. Okay. You take 3. Don't know why they would do that instead of... I guess because now they can get down a Bone Crusher? And Bone Crusher doesn't die to EE, I guess is their thought process here. Thoughtseize. I would love to draw land. Neat. Smart on them to hold the land. We'll go ahead and play down the Croxa. When it goes down to 5. Swift Spear comes down, they can get in for 5 here. Lava Dart makes it 7. We go down to... I mean, if they swing out and we hit a land, they're dead. Land off the top. Bolt. Okay. They swing. We'll go ahead and activate. Do that. And then we take 4, go to 5. They've got 1 card in hand. We can do this. Lightning Bolt, take them to 2, land off the top, unless it's exactly that one. So we go down to 1 here. Okay. Yes, I should have specified. They've got a burn spell. We lose 2 cards at it. Okay. So we would have untapped. Yeah. Unfortunate. Taking the loss round 1, but hey. We won the die roll. We will gladly take the play. Hand's a little bit too top heavy for me. And this is perfect as far as what we're putting back. I guess it's... Channeler there. Because we want to lead on the Inquisition. See what opponent's doing and then make our decisions based on that. Okay, we're facing Tron. Not only are we facing Tron that's just starting with natural Tron. Okay. We're in for a very tough time. Especially with what their hand is. Or we'll draw exactly what we need there to stop them just in the nick of time. Red, black, Croxa. Do that. They discard, I'm assuming probably an Ugin. Yep. So their hand is Mine, Plant, Liberated, Ugin, and 1 unknown. Next turn we have this Blood Moon down, which will stall them. Black Cleave Cliffs I like because that gives us our second red source here. Do that. Red, black, black. Blood Moon. Okie doke. Triple red O Stone. They need 2 more mana to activate that. We don't have a way to deal with the Oblivion Stone. This is a bit on the unfortunate side. I'll go ahead and drop down a Pyromancer here. We don't need to Inquisition. We know 2 of their cards. We can guess that their other cards not something we can hit off of an Inquisition. Okay, 1 more land. And they will have it. Okay, so they can do this to get green. Okay, so they are looking for something. Either another land or a way to grab another land. Does not look like they found it. This is nice for us. We've got 5 in the yard, so we can't Croxa this turn. Was a creature, otherwise draw a card. We can go ahead and cling away their Ugin. And then that turns on our Crooks. Let's go ahead and take a look at what their hand is. I'm assuming it's not going to be anything phenomenal here. Okay, so they will be blowing up the world next turn, unlocking all of their mana. Bit on the unfortunate side for us. Because they play down this mine and now they can O-Stone on... Probably at our end step is when they're gonna O-Stone. Because that allows them to guarantee a turn without us having a moon. Okay. So we'll have the Dread Boar, which will be nice. We'll get in for these 3 points here. So we'll be able to deal with whatever Planeswalker they choose. Yep. I'm assuming this is probably Karn Liberated. Interesting that they're going for their Worm Coil instead. Because Worm Coil I'm not too afraid of. Yeah, I mean, we're still a bit afraid of it. They're at 11. But we do have the Kroxa. So we can bring back the Kroxa, and then they have... they're down to 2 cards. Arguably the 2 cards that they're going to be keeping are Karn and Ugin. So we'll see how we can do. This happens, we draw that. Red, red, black, black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have to discard. They discard a Karn Liberated. We'll put this into play tapped and pass the turn. They will, however, get to Ugin downtick on 2, exile our Kroxa here. Not the greatest for us, but there's not much we can do to stop that. So we'll take 6, go down to 12. They'll gain 6, go up to 17. We Dreadbore the Ugin. I still don't know how we're beating this Worm Coil, but it's not impossible. Okay. And so we've got 1 turn before we have to just start chump blocking this Worm Coil, unless they have second Ugin. Or Ulamog. That'll do it. We'll go ahead and concede off of that. Just because they exile our Channeler, exile a land, and then we're not beating. We're down to 6. We then have to play this. Yeah. Okay. Fatal Push seems like a very weak card here. Pithing Needle does not seem bad as a way to name Karn Liberated or Ugin the Spirit Dragon. We could do Chandra. Doesn't seem awful. By the time we're getting to 4 mana, though, we need to be trying to close out the game. Guess another Dreadbore. Sure, let's try it. Okie doke. We'll take the play. Double Blood Moon plus that. This hand is a definite keep. Delta pass turn. Black, red, Gruxa. Make opponent discard. They discard a sphere. Okay. And drop down a moon. This either is crack, go get green. They go get the mine, which makes me think that they have the force of vigor. Or the O stone. Yep. So that'll happen. And we didn't bring in our Colgan commands, did we? Correct. Because I'm smart. There's a forest. And go ahead and bolt upstairs. Inquisition. Not great, but it does get rid of second O stone. Bolt upstairs, pass turn. We now have enough to turn on Roxa if we hit another land drop. Nice. Opponent missed their land. This just puts a threat on board. Okay, they get rid of a spatial contortion. I doubt they really want to be taking damage from this if they can avoid it. Karn the Great Creator does that and goes down. What do they reveal? Bridge. Okay. They get rid of an Ugin. That's good. They lose their Karn. We'll play out Hazaret because we can't empty our hand. Make it so that way they know they kind of need to play this bridge down. So they play down the bridge. Then they Stirrings to find their fifth land. And we pass the turn here. And we pass the turn. Opponent concedes. All right. And so opponent forgot that you can use Pithing Needle to name Oblivion Stone. We purposely did that to try to bait out the pop. They then would have popped Oblivion Stone, getting rid of their bridge and our Blood Moon and our Croxa, at which point we would then play out second Blood Moon and swing with our Hazaret. Okie doke. Colgan's commands. We want those in here. And truth be told, Pyromancer seems a bit meh. So does Cling to Dust. So we'll shave like that, run it back, and hopefully we'll get there. We'll find out though. It's tempting, but it doesn't have a lot. There we go. Way too many Lilianas, but that's fine. One went down to 5, which isn't saying much for Tron, but maybe we'll rip a discard spell off the top here. We did not. So Blackleaf Cliffs, pass turn. Okay. Are they going to just have Tron? Delta, pass turn. They just had Tron. Worm Coil, that's fine. Worm Coil's not that big a payoff for him. This allows us to go get black. You that Blood Moon. Okay. We take 6 here, but then we'll have Pyromancer ditching 2 Liliana of the Veil. Unless they have the Wilt. But even if they have Wilt, they don't have a lot of additional mana. They have the Wilt. Okay. They've got 6. Second Worm Coil. Wow. Opponents just got everything. They've got 1 card in hand. We draw Bolt. I mean, it's still, we just have to play out Pyromancer here. We're not getting past double Worm Coil, which is saddening. They went down to 5, had natural Tron plus double Worm Coil. Oh, and one of the cards that they had was Ulamog. Neat. Wow. Wow. Tron doing Tron things. All right. Let us see if we can recover. Hand does nothing. This hand does a lot more things than nothing. As far as what we're putting back, I don't want to put back any of these cards. I like them all. I guess it's get rid of Get rid of a Thoughtseize. I want to see how powerful Bob is. He's a singleton in this list. Okay, Skyclave, Push, and Scourge. Well, the problem is I don't exactly have a great way to deal with that Scourge after turn 2. Blood Grip, Shocked In. Swift Spear. Yep. And gets in for 1. Ooh, plays a Bobble. Nice. More information. We now know their entire hand. Cool. So they get in for 2 here. We go down to 16. We draw the Triome. Interesting. We'll play the Triumph and go ahead and bolt their Swift Spear before they have a chance to grow it. Pass the turn. Next turn we'll have Pyromancer or Bob. I'm leaning more towards Pyromancer. What land do they choose to play out here? Catacombs. Okay. And they fetch and shock. So it's definitely a Death Shadow variant. We draw land. Kind of like getting our black down. Let's play down this Dark Confidant. Try to bait out the Fatal Push. Yep, it'll do its job pretty well. Blood Crypt, Shocked In, down to 13 exactly. So I'm assuming this is probably Scourge. Ooh, Bowmat. Double Bowmat. Okay. Gets in for 2 here. Puts 2 cards under their Bowmats. We draw Black Cleave Cliffs. We'll play the Bloodstained Mire. Go red 1. Hit down this Pyromancer. Discard this land. And we have an Inquisition. Other hand's Mountain something. And we'll go ahead and get this Swamp in case they draw into a Blood Moon. Inquisition, they have the Bolt. All right. And we know that their hand's Mountain. Cool. So they are in top deck mode. We've got a Channeler. Not a great scenario for us, but not the end of the world. Yep. Bowmats grow. We go down to 11. They break 1 Bowmat. Getting rid of a TBR. Interesting. And they have Bobble. Likes whatever card enough to keep it in hand. Blood Moon is interesting here. It shuts them completely off, which I'm not opposed to. to shut them off of black. Yes, we take one more. But that's fine. Next turn we'll still have Channeler. Ideally, we hit something else good here. Interesting that they drew the snow-covered swamp. They don't have enough to lure us, but so we're at 10. We'll drop a Channeler down here and pass the turn. Unless opponent has a way to deal with this, they can't really swing. I mean, they can, but it's not in their best interest to. But they have the Fatal Push. So we'll be going down to 9. And Thought Seizes, getting rid of our Pyromancer. Card that we couldn't have cast, but would have really liked to. Keep draw, we draw a mountain, which is enough. I mean, they're gonna just pop this bow mat and draw 5, but that isn't necessarily end all be all for us or them. Create 2 1/1s. Fun. Can you read Teamer Battle Rage? Gains double strike. So if they have the TBR and they want to save this bow mat, they can't. If we double block, they can pop the bow mat, draw 5, but then we keep both of our elementals around. Okay. Death Shadow's a 2/2. Bowmat Courier. I'd like a way to deal with this Death Shadow. They draw an additional card. We draw a Channeler. Interesting. I like Channeler here. We do not swing. We play defensive. Okay, black mana, what? Push. Bot seizes us, so that way they reduce their health to grow the shadow. TBR isn't lethal yet. They need a dismember. Bolts Channeler out of the way here. So we are dead to Bolt TBR. Jumpity jump jump. See if we get the 2-for-1 there. They pitched double land to draw an additional card off of Bomat. Was not a TBR, which is great for us. And now we draw Liliana. What a top deck. Opponent concedes. All right. Because we down tick, they can then put Luris into hand, but they're searching for their basic. Blood Moon's pretty good against them. Engineered Explosives, great. Spell Bomb's great. Blood Chief's Thirst is not bad. Cling's not awful. As far as what's not great, I like Hazoret. Liliana seems pretty good. Chandler seems meh. We'll take out a Cling. We can shave on some Thoughtseize. We don't need to be taking damage against them. I want to keep in some number. We can shave a Kroxa. And there we go. Opponent takes the play. Reveals Luris. We've got a... yeah. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 3 Blood Moon. Seems pretty good. Our issue is we don't have double black. We don't need double black for this hand, but I'd like to get... I mean, this can go get the double black. Is we have to pick between double black, double red. Bobble comes down. And they bobble themselves, see if they like the card on top. Sun-Baked Canyon into Swift Spear. All right. That'll happen. Makes me question the order of things. I guess they might have had a fetch land and they were debating if they wanted to shuffle away the top card. So they draw here. We draw exactly what we needed. This Inquisition, our opponent. They have Thoughtseize, Kroxa, Shadow. Bleh. We'll get rid of Thoughtseize because Thoughtseize takes our Blood Moon. They crack. Probably go get basic Swamp to play out this Kroxa, so they have access to black mana in case we have a Blood Moon. Yep. Kroxa triggers happen. We'll pitch a Hazoret. We draw Blood Crypt. All right. Play the Delta, pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire, fetch, and shock down to 14. They've got one card in hand. We go down to 13. Night's Whisper. They draw 2, lose 2. That's an interesting effect. Because now they have the shadow. If they wanted it. Looks like they're gonna hold. I don't necessarily disagree with. Because now they get the 2/2 instep. We will go ahead and get this with a blood crypt. Actually, we'll drop a triome here. So we have no idea what's in their hand. You that red one. Pyromancer, getting rid of 2 lands here. And land in the Thoughtseize. Okay. Not terrible. Spell bomb's nice. Problem is 1 more land and they can Groxa. They can Groxa. Oh no. On turn 4. So they fetch and shock to grow. And then Kozilek's return. Okay. I mean, not a bad play from the aspect of we now have to take this. And we're down to 7. We're dead on board. Now need a way to deal with what they've got. And our hand cannot do that. We could... Nope. Nothing we do there wins. We could Inquisition. See what's in their hand. We could also Blood Moon, then play a land. That's not getting us there. All right. We just need them to be a bit slower or us to be a bit faster. Interesting dilemma. Mulligan. Keep. Bottom the Triome. Say done. Go with Bloodstained Mire. Pass the turn. Whatever they lead on, we kill it. Unless they lead on Thoughtseize. Then we cry. Go get ourselves a mountain. Bolt that. Spell bomb pass turn. Thoughtseize. Yeah, take the Blood Moon. I mean, I still fetch a basic here. Channeler plus land. There we go. As a bolt, yeah, of course. So what do they get here? Bobble. So they were banking on that Swift Spear, taking them the distance. So we'll take some damage here. And then Kroxa does that. Go ahead and do this. Would love to pay black and draw ourselves a card. They no longer have their Kroxa. And we've got a card in our hand. So they draw off of their bauble, and then we draw. We draw Liliana. Bit of an awkward one, because we lose our bolt in this process. But they've got a difficult time ahead of them. Black-red Kroxa. Oh, Scourge, sure. Easy down tick if I've ever seen one. Plus bauble. Spell bomb's nice. How weird. Wasn't letting me press 1 there. But continue. Anyway. So they see the top of our library here. They can draw an additional card with the bauble. They finally get their third land. They go down to 12. Get themselves a basic swamp. And another Scourge. Okay. Upkeep, we draw Pyromancer. Let's see what we hit off of Pyromancer here. See if we want to be down ticking or up ticking. Lands. Okay. Play a land uptick. Hope that they don't have removal for our Pyromancer. Okay. Does the Scourge come in at Lily? Scourge comes in at Lily. Will block. Second main, they have a 1/1 shadow. They have another Scourge. Will grow their Scourges to 6/6s. And they have a shadow. Unfortunate. Azaret, however, is a real good draw. Play Mom Dog down. Down tick. They get rid of their shadow. We have to swing both at Lily here. Bauble. Baubles us to see what we're drawing. Debating if it's worth sending at Lily or just smacking our face. Because in all honesty, I'd go face twice here. Not worry about Lily. When you're empty-handed. Both at Lily? Cool. Lily's dead. Okay, we draw a card here. It's a swamp. Okay. So we're dead to TBR. We're dead to TBR anyway. So we do this, and then we have Pyromancer flashback. Take opponent down to 7. If they double swing, they lose. Unless they have the TBR and 2 cards. You know, but they always have it, so we're dead. Make some chump blockers. And show me the TBR and make me cry. What you got? A Swiss Spear for blocking. Okay. We draw Pyromancer. That's an interesting one. We don't have any other Pyromancers in the yard, right? Okay. I mean, you have to block. So that block happens. Red, red. Black Pyromancer here. Draw 2. We draw Blood Crypt and Blood Moon. Interesting. Okay. We'll play out the Blood Crypt tapped and pass the turn here. Opponent Inquisitions. They get to take a Blood Moon. Not great for them. Not awful either, though. They kind of sort of have to hold back on one of these Scourges. Which cannot feel good for them. Have to be holding back a Scourge. Well, I know you don't have TBR in hand. You just take this. We go down to 8. And we can't take what they've got now, but we have a Fatal Push. Cast, get rid of that, win the game. There we go. There we go. That was a close one. Luckily, drawing that Fatal Push off of the Spell Bomb there, which is exactly what we needed. If we didn't, we would be drawing Blood Moon for the turn. We'd pitch that. It was going to be close. Okay. Taking a win. Let's continue. All right. They won the die roll this time. Hand's keepable. I dislike the Hazaret, but another Bobble deck, but this time didn't reveal a Luris. Okay, so we're looking at Urza Foundry. This is my guess, which makes this card dead. This card not so dead. Do that. Let's take a look at what they've got. Okay. Really don't like them having Urza, so we're gonna take that card. And next turn they'll have Emery, but we have the push for the Emery. No, because Emery costs 3 and push won't be active. Interesting. Loris main board. Cling to Dust isn't terrible. I don't see a sword. Something we could really cling would be a bauble, and that doesn't sound what we want to be doing. And so they crack the star, draw a card, they have the push. Brings back the star with Emery after pushing our Bob. Unfortunate that we tapped out because I would really like to push their Emery here, but we don't have mana. We draw Blood Moon. Card's not going to be good enough. So they draw off the star. We wait to see what this Emery targets. They go Thopter Foundry. Unfortunate. They want to target their Bauble. I'd like to cling that Bauble then. And there's a land which will shut them off of black. Not that they need that color anymore. We can, however, go Liliana here and down tick. Make them lose their Emery. Next turn we have Blood Moon to shut them off of black. There's a star, so they can now make a Thopter. They have the Emery. Of course. Upkeep draw. We draw a Blood Crypt. It's interesting. What we need. Seeing red 1, Pyromancer. Do this, pitch. Double Moon. Then we hit an Inquisition. Position because push isn't online. And that's a sword. They're a bit of ways off from being able to do Urza. But that, and then we'll discard our Delta. They discard their Sword of the Meek. As we expected, we sadly cannot activate yet. Okay, they do this, they sack to there, they draw a card, they make a Thopter, they get their sword back. This is escape. Oh, good, we'll be able to do that next turn. Okay, they go for the Bauble, they play the Bauble. They look at their top card. Plays out a Delta, fetches. Could sword twice here. channeler. Each player discards. We'll discard a Hazoret. They discarded a Thopter Foundry. That is fine by us. We will pass here. I want to hold up Cling. Oh, yes, buddy. Two, three, 4, 5. And get rid of that sword. What? Are you gonna surgical your own sword? I'm gonna sack to there. So they no longer have the foundry, but they'll be able to replay the foundry. Yeah. And they don't have black yet. Because they do this, they've got 1 turn. They've got 5 blue. So 3 of their foundries are in the yard. So they have to legitimately have their 4th foundry in hand. That is extremely unlikely. But they've got it. So they've got infinite mana here. Infinite mana, infinite dudes, infinite life. However they so please. I'm not going to make them play through that. We want pithing needles. We want spell bombs. We want engineered explosives. Boils don't do a whole lot. Like, it might work. Doesn't seem awful. Pushes can come out. And Cling can come in. We've got to get rid of 6 more. Blood Moon doesn't seem that great. I don't want to cut all of them because it doesn't seem awful. Shave Blood Moon, shave a Lily, shave a Kroxa, shave Channelers. Keep Channeler. Nah. Try like so. Yes, Fluffy. Yes, I've had one for about a 1.5 years now. Yeah, Spell Bomb. Yeah, this hand looks good against. Oh, they're fun. I don't really utilize its effects, but you know, they can be fun sometimes. But not really up to what they do. Dude, I love it. It's so nice being actually able to put the mic right in front of my face. It's not that we're going pro, it's that we're no longer going cheap. Yeah, this is the Road PSA 1. We'll get rid of Thopter Foundry. That's what I have approved. Dude, it's so nice. Like, I've only had it. I'm saying it's so nice. I've only had it for like 3 hours. I'm upset because the place I ordered it from, I also ordered an XLR cable from, but they shipped the XLR cable. Yeah. They shipped the XLR cable in a different package than this. So I'm still waiting on the 6-foot XLR cable because I've got a 20-foot one and then I've got the 3-foot one that this guy's attached to. One wants to look to see what we're drawing. They saw Blackleaf Cliffs. That's fine. So they won't have anything for a turn or two here. We do this just to put our crooks into the yard and then make them discard. Get rid of an engineered explosives. That's fine by us. We hope that they don't have the emery. Well, even if they have the emery, they don't have anything to make it cost reduction. So they played out the clear water. And I think at this point we don't know what's in their hand other than those cards. So we can throw the channeler into a push, but let's Thoughtseize here first. See what all we're dealing with. Push, push, and Clearwater Swamp. Rubik's Cube, good color. Yeah. Dismiss those. Get rid of the Urza. We could drop a Spell Bomb here. I like dropping a Spell Bomb here in case they hit a Emery. Especially since we have this second one. Okay. No Emery from them. I don't want to pop that early. We'll go ahead and Channeler to get rid of one of their pushes here. They played out a Swamp, which means that they've got clear water, so they'll have possibly an Urza next turn. We want another land drop here. Yeah, it makes me sad that I forgot how to solve the last. That's funny. You can't see the cube. Green screens. Forgot how to solve the final layer. So sadness. What's up, D20? How you doing tonight? Fluffy Howls. Let's go. We're currently not too hot with Rakdos Midrange. They go ahead and Thoughtseize us. That's unfortunate. Taking guess they're going to take this Hazoret here. Seems like a difficult card for them to deal with once we've resolved it. So at this point, we will be going ahead and taking the redraw off of this first Spell Bomb, getting rid of a Foundry and some of their stuff. It's not a phenomenal effect, but at this point, we need to get something going for us. Pay the black and draw another card. Okay. Apparently, we're destined to draw Spell Bomb. A Boil looking real good here, exactly as I was expecting. First Spell Bomb resolves, second Spell Bomb resolves. Opponent cries a little bit on the inside. Yeah, I figured that they don't really run too many islands with this list, so this Boil was not going to do a heck of a whole lot. Pithing Needle. What could we name off Needle? I guess we could just name the Thopter Foundry. Urza? Thopter? Yeah. Doesn't stop Urza, it stops the spin. I like naming Thopter Foundry here. Emery also wouldn't be a terrible name. Atog? Yes. White? Yes, sort of a meek. It sounds great. They can no longer equip it. So the white now has me concerned that they might be running something glorious like Teferi. Well, there's the Urza. Oh, that's nice. This fetch, get ourselves swamp, I guess. Hey, thank you very much for the follow, little Donnie. Appreciate it. How you doing tonight? Your first suggestion would have been OP. Would it? Would it have really? I mean, it would have stopped them from being able to spin. How's it going, bud? We do this. We get the Croaksta down. They discard their last card unless it's a counter spell. But now we've got ourselves a 6/6. Yeah, it's the push that we knew about from forever ago. That's fine. And now our Boyle reads destroy 2 lands for 4 mana. And looking pretty decent. And currently they have us on a 9-turn clock. I think we can draw out of that in 9 turns. The Sword of the Meek is hit. They can play Sword. That's fun. Plus Bobble. They have 3 mana. What are we doing with... Oh, we're equipping the Sword. Oh no. They now have us on a 4-turn clock. We are in trouble now. They crack the Bobble. Blood Moon. Card doesn't seem bad. Seems a bit late, but doesn't seem bad. I also tapped completely wrong for that. Pay no attention to the fact that I left open a dual color land after playing Blood Moon. Yeah, there's the star. I mean, it's understandable. I mean, Fluffy's not wrong. There are no swords. There's the Thopter Foundry. It's a nice artifact. They Thoughtseize us. No. I mean, I want to concede, but conceding we lose. So there are no swords, only Zool. Exactly. So there goes our Boyle. We need to get one more card into the graveyard magically here. We go down to 6. See if we had left our mana differently, we'd have one more card in hand. So we'd be 1 card deeper. Not like it matters here. We lose a Needle. I mean, doesn't do anything, but neat. And one more just to see. We get ourselves a blocker. And we can name Urza. Why? Because why not? So they can't spin. We go to 4. And then we'll have Croxa online. We might be able to come out of this alive somehow. Barely. As long as they don't have a push. Blue mana. Interesting. But they would choose to shrink their construct. And we still block the most amount of damage. So that way we can then also get the Croxa back out. Hoping that they do not have a push. Chat with no swords. Yeah, I'm not like Evan. I don't put a lot of swords in. This is a special place. Special place because it doesn't need a lot of swords. There we go. We get the Croxa down. Maybe. Double red, blue, metallic rebuke. Okay, we lose to that. So 1-3 with Rakdos Midrange. Let's see if we can salvage the league a bit. Earning your diamond. Yeah. So we don't keep this because it's doesn't have a red. And we'll keep this, and bottom has a red. Bob is a one of, which makes me sad whenever I see it. Because half the time I see it, I have to throw away the hand. The trial makes this hand extremely awkward. And let me guess, we're facing Hammer Time. Okay, maybe not. It's modern when Bob was good. I do too, because back when Bob was good means we still had Affinity. And I loved that deck. So do we drop the Channeler? Nah, let's see what opponent's doing here. Okay, so humans. I'm not a fan of any of this. Yeah. Brr. I guess it's mage here. Like champion's tempting because we're taking 3 next turn from champion. Lieutenant's tempting because it hits a lot of their stuff. Mage is tempting. We don't have any board wipe type effects. I like champion here because it stops the most damage. The reason I went with champion is because that way they couldn't go champion into hierarch to then hit us for 3. This way they can only go lieutenant into hierarch and hit us for 3, but then their lieutenant's not doing much. And we can thought seize this lieutenant away this turn unless they name thought seize. They name lightning bolt. Okay. Not a bad name. Another thought seize. Really would have liked to land there. Okay, they're gonna violin hierarch. Neat. Wasn't planning on taking that card anyway. Image. Okay. I mean, we'd still take the lieutenant because that is their scariest card. And we pass the turn and cry a bit on the inside. All right, Vile probably ticks up here. Draws a card off the clearing. What do we have for the sideboard? Engineered explosives, K commands, blood juice. Okay, we've got a decent amount on the sideboard. Image, meddling mage, K. Name's Fatal Push. Okay. So whichever one we draw first, we dreadbore the other. We take 3, go down to 15 here. We draw a Blood Crypt. So we know that their hand consists of Image or Reflector Mage and one else. Reflector Mage doesn't seem like what they want to be doing against a seasoned Pyromancer. So we'll go ahead and drop the Pyromancer, pitching Channeler and Thoughtseize, trying to draw ourselves into other things here. Keeping our removal spell for when we need it. A Liliana's really good there. So other than that, we've got some blockers. Then we'll have Lily. Not a big fan of Lily's sack, but it's not terrible. The only reason I'm not a big fan is because I've got a decent enough board state here. Don't tell me they drew the lieutenant. Okay. Okay. Not great, but not awful. And then they violin, Reflector Mage. Bounces our Pyromancer. Neat. We get to draw more cards later. Yes, it is. It is quite wide, and we do not have a board wipe in the sideboard. We'll go ahead and chump block. Interesting. So if we were to Liliana here, who needs board wipes? Exactly. If we Liliana here, Lily down tick, they probably just sack Noble here and then swing 4 at Lily and 4 at us. If we Dreadbore, we then take 6. We'll go ahead and Lily down tick. It's a 3 mana, 4 mana, remove something. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. Hopefully next turn we hit land and can go Dreadbore plus Channeler. Channeler will be big enough, which will be nice. Our issue is going to be if at this point they draw... I guess our number one issue would be Mantis Rider into Thalia's Lieutenant. Hey, Reflector Middling Rage again. Okay, Phantasmal Image. I'm still going to copy Meddling Mage. Name's Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. Opponent, I really dislike you. I guess they... Okay. So they do care enough about Lily here. So 4 at Lily, 4 at us. Lily dies. We take 4, go to 9. We could block and be at 11. Doesn't matter when we block. Ooh, fatal push. Problem is, we can't do everything we need to. Yep. Thank you, Thalia. We could Dreadbore to the one on push. And then push. Nope. It basically would be Dreadbore, the one on push, and Telegraph that we have push. Hope that opponent doesn't hit anything. Because then next turn we can push the one on Pyromancer, play Pyromancer. Yep. I'm okay with the Telegraph because they have only one draw at this. To try to find Mage/Image. We're in a bit of trouble. But who knows? Alright. Vial comes in. Yeah, just a smidge of one. Reflective Mage. Okay, we go down to 1. And we need untapped land off the top here to be able to block 3 of their things and die. We can't bolt ourselves. No. They have a meddling mage on bolt. Fun. And we can play out 2 channelers and lose. Get that power. I can't. I mean, I can't. I don't have the land. Push costs 2 because of Thalia. Drop these 4/4s and cry. Pyromancer drops it. Like, meddling mage on Pyromancer. And so to get rid of that meddling mage so we could Pyromancer, we need another mana to be able to play the Pyromancer. All right. EEs seem pretty good here. A lot of their things are 1 and 2. Blood Chiefs isn't terrible. Just more removal. Cling seems bad. Again, just removal doesn't seem terrible. Azure, it seems hard for them to deal with. Yeah, Needle on Vial. We're not playing Karn, you're right. That's probably not bad. We've got to cut 7. Oh, I know Hazard's an auto cut. We're not getting to 4 mana. Yeah. So we've got 9. We can keep 8. We'll try it like that. We'll probably lose. It's fine. Wait, what? Did I math wrong? I mathed wrong. I don't have to cut my lilies? I still think it's correct to cut a lily. We'll bring back in the Thoughtseize. Alright. Take the play. Yeah, hand doesn't seem bad. The question is, do we lead on... We lead on the Inquisition. That way they can try to Vial, and then we name Vial. Or they have a hand without Vial, and we cry. Io can't take Noble. Smack him. You're not wrong. Especially with what their lands were there. So we'll get one lieutenant down. Fluffy is the dark power. Yes. You really are my good luck charm. That black needle. Go ahead and name Aether Vial here. Sounds about right. And now they can... Don't like that needle. I understand that you don't like the needle, but that's fine. Because instead I should be holding up for when they play this Thalia's Lieutenant. Or this Thalia Guardian of Thraben. Because now I could be killing it and then Blood Mooning next turn. I don't disagree. And I realize my mistakes as soon as I make them. Which is exactly when you want to be realizing your mistakes, right? After the fact. Okay, so they'll... Or it'll be champion plus lieutenant. And we will cry. In response. Oh yeah, it's very beatable. Because now we activate our pushes. And we go push this annoying card. Plus push this annoying card. And they have a 1/1. And now we go red, black, black, Blood Moon, Cryos. We won't be able to land this Lily, but opponent won't be able to do anything except hit us with a 1/1 for a while. I think a 1/1's pretty beatable from this scenario. Okay. Opponent didn't want to play the game of 19 turn clock. We would have drawn a red mana, we would have drawn Channeler, and that would have been it. All right. Now we just need to do it again. This time on the draw. Anything that we want to change? No. Looks good. Do we keep the one lander? He's out for Pyromancer? No, you do not. What do you mean? You always keep the one landers. Huh. See, this one's actually debatably keepable. Which I dislike. Problem is it's only one removal. Seems a bit slow against humans. Yeah. It's fine. We'll keep and we'll draw nothing except non-lands, right? Get rid of this Blood Crypt. And let's rip this IOK off the top. And then the Blood Moon. Well, there's the Vial. I'd be okay with a Pithing Needle off the top here too. That is none of the cards we were talking about. And thank you very much, game. We'll lead on a Delta and pass the turn. keeping land heavy hand and drawing lands always feels great. Okay, they've got 2 mana here. Assuming... Okay. Beatable since we brought in ensnaring, or we brought in engineered explosives. Not easy, but we never said this was going to be an easy match. We'll keep this delta around. Doesn't buy us anything to play it. Doesn't buy us anything to not use it. So that plus mountain pass turn. We can now fatal push anything if they play something. File goes up to 2 here. At this point, it's probably this will go get Blood Crypt. Play the swamp. We Pyromancer, pitch 2 lands, trying to find things. Next question: why do you have the chat disappear? I don't know. Because I was lazy to change the settings. Okay, I can't stop this, which means that they've got a 2/2, which is quite unfortunate for us. And they gain 1. Yep. They get in for 2 here. I dislike the vial. Something tells me with the fact that they're holding it up, it's probably a freebooter. That's gonna hurt. I mean, I guess we have answers to freebooter. Fetch for a... I guess this could get a swamp because we could do Bloodstained Mire, go get a mountain. It's still Blood Crypt though. Put into play tapped, hope opponent is... Yep. So this will happen. Hello, Mr. Freebooter. How is Freebooter worded? You choose exile that card until. So non-creature, non-land means they have to pick between Lily and Push. Both aren't great for them. Yeah. They take the push and they grow their lieutenant. We now do that. We can... I like dropping the Pyromancer here still. Pyromancer pitching 2 lands. Yes, we don't make as many blockers, but gives us answers. Okay. Looking all right. We're not in the greatest shape if they can grow this lieutenant. I say if they're humans, they can grow this lieutenant. But we do have the Dreadbore. So we could Dreadbore the Kite Sail, then push the lieutenant here. Unless opponent happens to Meddling Mage. The fact that they uptick Vial to 3 makes me think they don't have Meddling Mage. Let me guess. Path? Oh no, you're doing the Human Lord. Yep. Human Lord comes down, grows their Auriok Champion and their Thalia's Lieutenant. We're still okay. It's not great, because now we have to deal with the Human Lord. We go Dreadbore. Mantis Rider and Doom. Shh. Shh. They don't have it. We're fine. They don't have it. See, it's not Mantis Rider. Instead, it's Anafenza? I'll be honest, I was not expecting to see an Anafenza this game. So whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 on another tapped creature. If a non-token would die, so we lose our Pyromancer if we block. However, we have to block because I'm not taking 5. We take 5, or I'm not taking 10. We draw. That's an interesting one to draw. Problem is, we don't have the mana to do it all. Because we can do that. And then we can push. And doing so, we would take lethal. Yeah. So we could bolt. Bolting the Lord reduces the amount of damage by 6. We take 4, 8, 10, 11. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way around this. We have to get rid of the Lord. And now we're tapped out. And go ahead, opponent. Yeah, it's one of these. It's like there's no other option. But I don't like how this option feels. I don't think we're ever going to be able to get out of this. Human seems like a pretty hard matchup when you don't draw Blood Moon. Okay, Vial on 3. Is it a Mantis Rider? Yeah, we'll concede to that. All right, going 1-4 yet again. Our third 1-4. I am not doing hot this go round. So, yeah, it's okay. We're about to play Mill, meaning we're going to do great. Overall, deck felt pretty good. In that league, I don't know. Boyle didn't really feel great, but I also don't expect to be running into Demir Wurza or, I mean, Humans is a pretty common deck. Just not one that's too well positioned in the meta right now. But other than that, everything in the list feels strong. I just didn't play well or didn't get a good enough matchup. If you pay attention, a lot of them were a bunch of close games, so it's not like this deck doesn't have staying power. As you can see, we went 1-2, 1-2, 2-1. The 0-2 against the Wurza deck wasn't great, but then another 1-2. So deck's powerful. It's just not. I just wasn't able to win the matchups, but that tends to happen occasionally. Anyway, it feels strong. Definitely a fun one. See you guys in the next video.